to our rankings right now. Now, when you did your rankings, and again, we are ranking the teams 32 to 1 in what we think they will be this upcoming season. And again, this is just regular season. So our 1 and 2 teams, we're not saying are going to be in the Super Bowl. We're just saying regular season, they're going to be the best teams because obviously playoffs are a whole different story. And also at this point, playoffs are almost a year away. So when you were doing your rankings, in your mind, how did you do it? How many drafts did you do? Take it.
Honestly, I tried to not think about it too much. I just wanted to lay it out there and go with my gut feeling. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be pretty similar to last year, outside of maybe the middle 4 teams, or the middle 4, like the middle 10 teams.
Yeah, I would say I had a clear cut. I would say probably like top 9, and then after the top 9, like that spot where it was probably 10 to 24, I was like, this is where it really becomes like a, do I really think this team is better than this team? Like, why? Like, that's where it then became kind of a jumbled mess. But I really think I'm dead set on my top 5 and dead set on my bottom 5. Actually,
I
I'm
think
dead
we're
set on
probably
my
go
bottom
there.
6. Yeah.
I'm dead set on bottom 5 for me.
Well, let's start there. Let's just go back and
So we're
forth.
going to go from 32 on.
Yes, 32 up. So
Okay.
your worst team that you think is going to be the worst team this coming year is who?
The Browns. They are absolutely in shambles. Like, I know that they brought in a lot of quarterbacks from the draft. They got Shedeur Sanders, the god, the prophecy. You know, I know they have Flacco, the old man. But yeah, I just think there's going to be way too much noise for this team. Myles Garrett sold out. Like, I think this team's going to be just awful.
Yeah, I was looking at the Browns as well as my worst team, but I really do think the worst team this upcoming year is going to be the New Orleans Saints. And it's going to be the New Orleans Saints. And actually, this is what is it? I was going to make one of these for every team, but then I was just like, that would be way too long and take way too much time. So I will just show the one I made for the Saints, and I'll use this again when we're talking about the Saints and what I think, for all these teams obviously going into a new season, there's going to be question marks for every team. For the Saints, my question marks are, first off, who is their quarterback going to be? Because obviously Derek Carr retired kind of, I would say suddenly, but it was suddenly to us. There's no way in hell the Saints figured out he was retiring the same time we, the fans, did. That's not how that stuff works. So even though he retired at the time he did, I'm assuming they knew beforehand. And then their solution to replacing him was what exactly? Because you look at who is on the Saints roster as a quarterback, it's Tyler Sau. I don't know how you say that. Sau. He was the 40th pick in the second round. So that is a guy from Louisville. Where do you just put him on a bad team and just go, okay, you're a starting quarterback, like there's nobody behind him. Then you have Spencer Rattler, what is it, behind him, and then 3 or third and fourth string guys you've never heard of. So yes, they have Kamara, Olave, they have Brandon Cooks. Their defense is okay. Their offense, again, is going to be on the shoulders of a a second round quarterback that they took with pick 40 that, I don't know. Like, do you trust the coaching staff? If this was Sean Payton, it'd be a different thing, but it's not. It's Kellen Moore now. So is Kellen Moore a good coach? I don't know. I don't.
I need to see more.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, oh, that's why it's not letting me pull it up. There we go. It is. So who is their quarterback is number one? Is Kellen Moore a good coach is the second one. Last year, this was a 5-12 team, 30th defense in the league. I said they were okay because they can't be worse than that, right? There can only be better. If this is the 32nd ranked defense in the league, I'll swallow my tongue, but they can only get better than last year on defense. And offense, again, with Carr for half the season before he was out with injury, 21st in offense if they rely heavily on the run game. But again, they have Kellen Moore. They don't have Hurts walking through the door. They don't have Saquon Barkley walking through the door. So he's going to have to redo his entire offense. And when we saw him with the Cowboys and less talented teams than the Eagles, those offenses got better when he left. So that's why, to me, the Saints are going to be the worst team. I think their offense is going to be awful. Their defense is still going to be bottom of the league if it has to be slightly better than 30th. And then my number 31st is the Browns. So as you said, the Browns, what is it? The only good news for the Browns is that they just got approved for a $600 million new Brown stadium, which, congrats. Like, they should be happy about that, but it's like, why are the Browns getting a new stadium? I don't know. But their current starter right now, if you look at the depth chart, is Deshaun Watson. Not going to happen. He'll probably never play another down for the Cleveland Browns again. So then you look after that, it's Flacco, it's Pickett, it's Dylan Gabriel, it's Shedeur Sanders. I think both you and I have said the first week one, you or I would both be shocked if it was Shedeur Sanders starting week one. There's no way he starts week one for the Browns. All you hear about during the off season is just like every Browns quarterback during the camp, during the OTAs is just lighting it up, right? You see the stats and it's just nobody's throwing interceptions. Everybody's completing 70% of their passes. Everybody's throwing 20 touchdowns. It's just like, I don't care about any of that. None of that will sway me on just the fact that this is going to be a bad team. They don't, their defense is going to be, again, fine because they have Myles Garrett and then just a bunch of guys. They have Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and then who would be the third guy you would take on their team? I have no idea. And then offensively, they just have a bunch of guys where you're like, oh yeah, I would like them as the second or third option on my team. I don't like as my number one starting receiver, Jerry Jeudy now, or Deontay Johnson now. Like maybe a couple of years ago, maybe again when they were on the Steelers or the Broncos and they were second and third options. They have no they have no Chubb. Now it's Jerome Ford and rookie Quinshon Judkins. So I don't know. Just when it comes to the Browns casino, there's just too many question marks with the Browns and Saints for me to be like, all these things are just going to turn positive, and here we go. Like, there's
right. No, I totally agree. But Saints, little look into the future. Saints are number 3. My number 2 is going to be the Jets. I think the Jets, dealing with that whole Aaron Rodgers situation, was just so bad that organization's always bad. I have no trust, no faith in them. And then I know Justin Fields is over there, and I like Justin Fields, but he needs support. And going to the Jets, you're not going to get that support. I know the Bears were not great, but you know what? I will take where the Bears organization has been in the last 3 years and where the Jets organization has been in the last 3 years. So you take where Justin Fields and what Justin Fields has been trying to do and like just right there for the Bears, but not being able to get over. He's going to be worse off with the Jets. That's just my opinion on that. I think the Jets are a shamble of a team. I don't like their coach. I don't like their roster this year. I'm going to struggle watching this team. I mean, tell me somebody on their team that you're excited to see.
I do think Justin Fields will at least be more exciting than, Aaron Rodgers kind of doing the whole, as we've talked about on this show, where he does the whole, if somebody's not open, I just immediately throw it away and I'm not going to risk taking throws. I think Justin Fields will be interesting because he'll be a much more of a risk taker, better or worse than Rodgers. But I don't think this team will be any good because last year, much like how the Browns and the Saints, their defenses were so bad last year, they can only improve. Last year, the Jets finished the season as the number 2 ranked total defense in the league. There's no way they can improve to 1. There's no way this team stays at 2. They were number 3. So they're either going to get better and be the first or second best defense in the league. Both you and I would probably say that there's less likely of a chance than them just dropping like a stone and all of a sudden, because again, even if they're a middle of the road defense, their offense last year with Aaron Rodgers was 24th in the league in total offense.
Yeah. So, I mean, with Tyler Johnson there, being a receiver, you also have, you know what? I think Breece Hall is going to have an okay season. I'm still waiting for him to like branch out again. Yeah. Pop after his pop of his leg. Womp womp. I really want Breece Hall to do well. I like him, but I mean, you got Allen Lazard, you've got Taylor Johnson that just came right. I'm not excited for this team. Like nothing really pops. Defense wise, Sauce Gardner, good, right? Like that'll be fun, but I don't know. I don't have much faith in this team at all.
Well, then obviously they have their star receiver, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Again, I like their pieces. It's just
this organization can't put it together.
Yeah. And also Justin Fields.
They're trying to do what they're trying to do, that when you're working on puzzles and you're like, I think this piece fits here. They just try to slap it in there. They have the right pieces. They're on the board. They just can't put them together.
Well, also, if you just want stability, like this, obviously the ceiling for Justin Fields is higher than the ceiling for Tyrod Taylor. But if you just wanted stability, like I feel like Tyrod Taylor, again, if you give Tyrod Taylor a top 5 defense.
That was going to be my next question to you. I was going to say, are you okay with Fields starting, or would you start Taylor? In my opinion, I would probably start Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, or I guess at least put, at least put Justin Fields on like a short leash. I mean, he's
going to be on a short leash.
Yeah, it's not like Tyrod Taylor is a bad or a good quarterback, but he's also not a bad one.
No, he's proven that he can. Still out. He's proven that he can play games.
Yeah, the jury's still out on if Justin Fields is even a good quarterback. Like, obviously, you take him because
it's so hard to assess that and judge it, because with Justin Fields he's been on bad organizations. He just went to another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oi.
I don't know. But so Jets were your number 31.
Yeah. And then I guess going with theme, I will go down to my 30, and my 30 will be the Saints. My 30.
So your 30 is the Saints. My 29 is the Jets, who I put one above them. So I have 32 Saints, 31 Browns. The 30th, I put the Colts. Like, I just think, when you look at the Colts, like, again, I feel like you can really judge teams in this league by their quarterbacks. Right now, the 2 quarterbacks on the Indianapolis Colts depth chart is Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. If you're a Colts fan, which of those 2 quarterbacks are you super excited to be leading?
I'd much rather have Daniel Jones on there than Richardson.
I feel like I would too.
All day. And the sad thing is that you want Daniel Jones over him. Oy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you look at the 2 quarterbacks in your quarterback battle and you're begging the team to start Daniel Jones, like, that tells you how dire. Tyrod Taylor again, or I'm sorry, not Tyrod Taylor, Anthony Richardson. He is only 23 years old. He's been a starter in this league for 2 years. His career, he has 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Now, again, you can say some of those years were obviously both of those years, I'm sorry, were plagued by injury. In one of those years, he only played 4 games. Last year, only played 11. But again, it's still like he was such a young, inexperienced, like just raw talent coming out of college where they were just like, well, if the right guy can get their hands on him and mold him, like maybe they can turn him into something. But after 2 seasons, like he was a small guy coming out of college. He looked what he's kind of taken the hits that everybody feared Jaden Daniels would take, where it's just like this tall, skinny guy, and they were just like, can his body hold up in the NFL? So far, what is it? Jaden Daniels' body has. Anthony Richardson has not.
No.
And he, again, the concerning thing is when he plays games, he completes 50% or less of his passes. So you're injury prone. You're not really ever the fastest guy in the field. And then you complete half, like less than half of your passes. That's not even backup worthy in the NFL.
That's
like,
fair.
But and then for the Colts, the rest of it is just, I don't know if their coach is good. They had the 29th ranked defense last year. So bad defense. Their saving grace on offense is potentially going to be Daniel Jones. Like, this is what makes you feel good.
Right. 29 for me. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, then my 29th was the Jets. So what's your 29th?
Mine's the Giants. I mean, they got Jackson Dart, right? I just don't trust. It's not that I don't trust Jackson Dart. I don't trust the Giants organization. I mean, again, these New York football teams, man, they just can't get it right. They just can't get it right. And I mean, you got a rookie quarterback. You've got rid of, all your big offensive weapons. I'm just not excited to watch anything about this team. I know that they had a pretty decent draft, but again, they're all rookies. This is going to take time to develop. So that's where I'm worried with this team. Yes, you have time. You got some good pieces, in the draft, but that doesn't mean they're all going to pan out, right? That's a very rare thing that happens. And with that, you need them to be able to understand how the NFL is played. So if you're relying on a whole bunch of rookies to come in and do it for you, and you don't have a lot of great veteran pieces, you're going to struggle. So that's where I kind of have the Giants.
Well, and then also at this point, it's like, is the day one starter, they have the issue where they have 3 quarterbacks where 2 of them, obviously I was going to say Danny DeVito. Obviously, Tommy DeVito is clearly your 4th string, right? So then you have basically a 3-way battle between Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and then Jackson Dart. So if you're the Giants, and again, also what's wrapped in this is
Wilson will get the start, but I think he will be on that tight leash. I think he'll be on a real tight leash, in my opinion. And I do think Jackson Dart, if you're a smart organization, you go with him and you keep Jameis on the bench as a backup. Why?
But
you need to see what Jackson can do. You need to see what he can do.
But see, here's the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is Brian Daboll, because he's going to want to win now. The organization is going to want to win in the future. But if Brian Daboll doesn't win now, he's out and there is no future for him with the Giants. So if the Giants are like, we want Jackson Dart to be good for the future, he's going to be like, listen, I don't have a season to let him sit and develop. That's why I'm sure it was his call to get 2 veteran guys and just be like, listen, I'll start the older guys and just to win us games, and then Jackson Dart can hopefully.
But are they going to win them games?
Well, that's the thing. I don't
think they are. So you need to start the rookie. You need, or at least have him there as the secondary and put him in games late if Russell can't get it done, or Jameis Winston, whoever they start, but it's going to be Russell, can't get it done. You want to have Jackson Dart to get in there and get some reps in. You need it.
Yeah. I do think this is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be one of my 5 hot takes when we do our 5 hot takes, but last year, the Giants defense finished the year 24th in the league. They obviously in the draft added Abdul Carter, who was a lot of people's number 1 pick. I legitimately think the Giants can have potentially, again, this is a hot take. I don't know if it's a top 5 hot take. They can have a top 5 defense this year. So I think the Giants defense is going to surprise a lot of people. I think they're going to create a lot of pressure up front. I think they are going to be one of those teams where if they just get stability and just, win, they need to be in rock fights where they're winning against teams like 14-10, 17-10. So if Russell Wilson, we've never seen Jameis do this, so I'm assuming it's going to be Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson can just not turn the ball over, kind of move the ball downfield, I think the Giants are going to be a team that surprises some people this year. I don't have them as low as you rank them, but I mean, I don't have them that much higher either. But I just think defensively, I really like the Giants this year. Also, I think sneaky pick for fantasy because I feel like this is a defense that's going to get a lot of sacks. That was your number 29, correct?
Yep. We should probably get a little move in here on these, though.
Yeah. My number 28 casino, I actually have the Cardinals. I just think when it comes to the Cardinals, I think I'm out on Kyler Murray. I just think he's one of those guys where, much like some of the other quarterbacks we've talked about, he kind of is just a guy who always is injured. He's always just starts the season really hot. Everybody's like, is this the Cardinals' year? Is this the Cardinals' year? And then they just peter out by the end of the season. I also
are they going to win enough games? You say that, right? That they are kind of hot at the beginning. Do you think they'll win enough games? See, that's where I think I don't think they're going to be this low on the bottom because they will win enough games to kind of get them into that weird 6-7 wins range.
Yeah. And again, last year, this was a 8-9 team, like you were talking about, because they won a lot of games at the beginning of the season. The first time in 4 years that Kyler Murray started every game, and then starting every game, he threw 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 3,800 yards, and then ran for another 500 yards. So that seems like, to me, kind of the peak of what we're going to see from Kyler Murray. Now, 2020 was, his peak where he had better numbers, better yards, better touchdowns, more rushing yards, more rushing touchdowns. But again, at that point, this is 5 years ago. So for the past 5 years, last year was the first time he finished a season. When he did finish it, he threw for 21 touchdowns, completed 70% of his passes, and they finished 8-9. This is the thing I always kind of pauses me when talking about like teams or whatever, is their head coach, who I jokingly and lovingly call Murr from Impractical Jokers, cost the Eagles a Super Bowl because they couldn't stop one offensive series from the Chiefs. So your defensive coordinator gets hired as a coach, and then with that team, last year they finished as the 21st ranked defense in the league. So you hired a defensive coordinator as your head coach, and then you still have a bad defense. Like, that to me just always screams, Chiefs hire Andy Reid because they want to have a great offense. They do. If all of a sudden he's this offensive genius and their offense is ranked 20th in the league, they're going to be like, what else does he do? Like, why did we hire this offensive genius if he can't get our offense on track? So Cardinals hired a defensive coordinator, can't get their defense on track. And now everybody's supposed to be like, but they went 8-9. So what? We're just supposed to be like, oh, this is the year where the Cardinals have a top 10 defense, and then Kyler Murray has another great season.
I see what you're saying, but I just think they're going to be exactly where they were last year,
which is an 8-9 team.
8-9, 7-10, right around there.
Well, I also think when you look at their division, I think the Rams are going to be good or better. I think the 49ers are going to be good or better. I think Seattle, if
Right.
what is
So
it?
7-7-10. 7-10.
Yeah, I
I think
think
that's where
well,
we're at.
I think this is going to be a 6-win team, but that's why they're 28th on my list.
That's fair.
You 28th.
28. Let's see what I have here. Sorry, I got away from it. Oh no. Filler. Hey, you got beautiful eyes. You're doing great. Um, so my 28, I have the Titans.
Oh, okay. I have them a couple spots above that, but yeah, they had the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah,
They're
they got the
starting a
Cam
rookie
Ward.
quarterback.
Yep, they're
Yep.
starting a rookie quarterback. Um, I just I think they need more time. I'm not going to say they're going to be bad. I like the Cam Ward pick, but they didn't do enough in free agency for me to kind of pull themselves out of where they're at. They needed more pieces, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do feel like they're kind of missing again with their wide receivers. They have Calvin Ridley, they have Tyler Lockett. I've never really liked Tony Pollard. Uh
And see, and you're gonna get your stuff out of Ridley. You know, they paid for him, right?
yeah.
You're gonna get your money, but again, that always worries me when a player gets paid. How are they gonna show up? I think Tyler Lockett is now passed. Um, I don't have much faith in him anymore. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, again, I've never been a big Tony Pollard fan. Last year he had 1,000 yards, but there were multiple games where he had 35 rushing yards, 45 rushing yards, 35 rushing yards, 15 rushing yards, 44 rushing yards. I just don't think he's the type of guy to be your bell cow back who is just,
Yeah,
you know,
and if you don't have, I mean, we talk about it. A lot of people love just the receiver end of the game. You know, that flashy offense, but you need a good running back. You need a good
especially when
running
you're
back.
pairing him with a rookie quarterback.
You
Like,
need to have all aspects of the game when you have a rookie quarterback, especially, yes, he is the number 1 overall pick, right? But you still need to support him.
yeah. And also last year, the Titans finished with, oh, I don't even see them on this list for defense. Where are they? The Titans, I can't, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. Where are they on this list? The Titans finished with the number 2 overall defense last year.
I knew it was up
So
there.
again, if they get, what is it? If they get anything from their offense and their rookie, could they be the Commanders of this year?
No,
Where
I have
all
the
of a
command. I
sudden,
know the Commanders of this year.
ooh, that's a tease. That's a good tease. My next pick, Casino. There is a theme with my bottom teams, and it is me either not liking or not trusting their quarterback. Can I interest you in number 27, the Falcons, and their starting quarterback named Michael Penix Jr., who
I like him.
last year in 5 games played, he threw for 3 touchdowns, 3 interception with a quarterback rating of 78. So
He'll be all right.
again, a mystery. Again, there's that weird thing where with all these trades happening, will Kirk Cousins get traded before the season? Looking at these teams, I mean, I feel like the Colts would be in a better position if they traded for Cousins, or the giant blinking trade him here with the Saints. Like, Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins to me are very similar in play style and how they approach the game. So
Yeah.
even if you just want him there as a mentor for your rookie quarterback, I still think him on the Saints would make the Saints a much more interesting team. But we're talking about the Falcons. The Falcons to me are just the definition of, you look at them on paper and you just go, hey, you know what? I really like Bijan Robinson. I really like Drake London. I really like Kyle Pitts. And then for the entire season, none of those guys ever do anything to the extent you think they should be doing it. This is a 4-5 year venture now where it's just like, I'm drafting Bijan Robinson really high. I'm drafting Drake London really high. I'm taking Kyle Pitts as the 3rd tight end in fantasy. And then they just all are middle of the road, or in Kyle Pitts place, just bad. And then you
Right.
put Michael Penix in, where last year nothing he did in any of the games made me go, "Oh yeah, this is the starting quarterback
I mean,
for an
this is not
NFL
going to be a
team."
good team. They're not too far away from where you have them now. So I have the Colts next for everything that you said previously, and we discussed about. Then my whatever that would be, seventh worst team as we go on down. I have the Jags. I have the Jags.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to, since you're doing it reverse
Well,
style, that's
you're
throwing
doing it
me off.
reverse from what I wanted. So
Why would we number the worst teams to the best teams
because
from
you
one being the
because
worst to
originally,
32 being the
whatever.
best?
All right, whatever.
That makes no sense. But so your number 26
6. Yes.
is, what is
My
it? Is the
26
Jaguars.
is the Jags. And I say the Jags because, yes, they got Travis Hunter, right? And we like Trevor Lawrence, let me rephrase, Trevor Lawrence. Um, they don't really have anything on offense. You have Trevor Lawrence, you have Travis Hunter, you brought him. You have Bigsby as a running back. I kind of like Bigsby, but I'm not excited for this team. There's not a lot going on for it. And with Travis Hunter wanting to play two ways, this team's he's going to get burned out. He's not going to be able to do the routes and do everything that Trevor Lawrence wants him to do as a wide receiver. And I think this season's going to wear on him. I think this season's going to wear on him quick. This is not a college football season. You're going to get hit at the line. You are going to, especially if you want to try to do corner as well, you're going to struggle, man. That is so much running. These are elite players in the NFL. I mean, we've talked about the Travis Hunter thing. I'm just not excited for this team at all. I don't think they have a lot of pieces, and I think they're going to struggle.
Well, it's also one of those things where it's just like, at this point, we're 4 years into the Trevor Lawrence experience. Is he a good quarterback? I don't know.
I don't know.
There seems to be such like definitive points made where it's just like, oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. We just haven't seen it yet. And then it's like, okay, well, this is year 5. How many years do we give a guy where it's just like, maybe this is just who he is?
Well, I mean, when he was coming out of, when Trevor Lawrence was coming out of college, like he was the Messiah, dude. Like
that's what we always
everybody
do
had
with
him.
Quarterbacks.
Well, yes and no, but like I say yes and no because outside of, Andrew Luck, like he was the next guy, like the guy. And Andrew Luck, if he just didn't keep getting hurt, Andrew Luck would have been outstanding in this league. And he showed that he could be outstanding in this league. Trevor Lawrence hasn't. And with that is, I think people are still holding on that Trevor Lawrence is still going to turn into what Andrew Luck was supposed to be.
Well, yeah. I feel like the most hyped quarterbacks the last couple years outside of Luck, it was Lawrence and it was Caleb Williams, right? Like those were the two guys where it was like, listen, these are the clear number
I feel
ones.
like Lawrence was hyped way more.
Well, it was still hyped in the sense of like, listen, these guys are going to take over the league and just be. I mean, we had Trevor Lawrence as our MVPs, 2 years ago, last year? Yeah. And it was just, it never happened. It never came to fruition. And then you look at the Jaguars and it's just, I like the Jaguars pieces on offense. Again, with Brian Thomas Jr., I think, again, I break everything down by fantasy. I think he's going to be first 2 rounds taken as a wide receiver. Like there's a lot of hype with the Jaguars offense. The only thing is like, yeah, they have a lot of pieces and nice weapons, but can their coach? Is their coach going to be a good coach? He said Duval in a weird way at the press conference. So now everybody's out on him. But other than that, like, this is one of those teams where, like the Falcons, I like their pieces on paper. And then when you're watching the games, you're just like, why are the pieces not doing what they're supposed to do? And again, that could be a million things from coaching to this player's hurt and we don't know it. You just never know. But again, the Jaguars and Falcons the past couple of years have just been giant what ifs for me. And I have them a little bit higher than you. Which number you're on? We're on 26.
That was 26. So
my 25 my 26 was the Giants, who we talked about. same concerns. My 25th is the Titans, and my 24th was the Jaguars. So now we are at 20 or 25 for you. Who do you got?
Panthers.
Ooh, I actually have the Panthers much higher.
See, that's where I wanted them to be higher. I need to see, and they can jump really quick. I need to see what Bryce Young can do now that he's got that starting job back, and he earned it. Yes, I know that the whole Red Rocket getting injured and all that stuff, and yes, I call him the Red Rocket still. I don't know. I just need to see more from the Panthers, and then Falcons right after that. I do like Penix more than you do. I like his pinpoint accuracy. I just think he kind of got thrown in there when he wasn't expected to. I thought he was like, okay, Kirk Cousins, he got that massive deal. He's going to be good. He's the best mediocre quarterback to ever play the game. That I think he wasn't ready. I don't think he was ready to come into that moment. Now that he knows that he's going to be the starting quarterback this season, I think that he will shine.
Yeah, see, that's how I kind of feel.
That's why I have him higher in the list than what you did.
Well, that's how you feel about him is kind of how I feel about, what is it, Bryce Young, which is just like, I feel like last year, again, people forget, like, he almost single-handedly beat that Eagles team by, like, bringing his team down the field, and then his guy drops it in the end zone, or they beat the eventual Super Bowl champions, again, with at that point still the number one defense in the league. So I think whatever that benching did to his psyche is like one of those stories that will become legend if all of a sudden now he's like a great quarterback and, you know, like all this kind of stuff, because whatever happened to that, I mean, it worked because he came back as just a completely different player. Because again, much like Anthony Richardson and Jaden Daniels, everybody, including us on this podcast, was like, is he too small to play quarterback in the NFL? And for the first couple of years of his football career, the consensus was yes.
Like, well, I mean, it always is that. I mean, tell me a quarterback that's that size that's done well. Right?
Yeah, no, I can't think of any. I mean, Russell Wilson would probably be the closest comp.
That's the only one that I can think.
Or I guess Drew Brees a little bit, but even Drew Brees was bigger than Bryce Young.
Yeah.
But that was your number, what? I'm sorry? 25?
25, 24. Yep.
So my 24 was the Jags. My number 23 team is the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's funny. Let's just talk about it right now. That was my 23.
Oh, there you go. So when it comes to the Raiders, last year they were 4-13, but is there but they might be on my top 5 teams I'm most looking forward to seeing, just because of how much of a culture shift they've done. Right now they have Tom Brady, now they have Pete Carroll, now they have Geno Smith, and they've completely built this team and roster from what they were even a year ago. But that being said, they're still in maybe the hardest division in football.
Yep.
That's
where it is for me. That's the main reason. The main reason is, Jesus Christ, I don't know if you can hear it.
I cannot.
It's nuts. Anyway, so yes, the culture's there, and it's going to take a while because you just said culture change, complete flip, right? So that's going to take a second to get seeded and implanted into that team. But also, they are in one of the hardest, if not the hardest division in football. You know, so I just, they're going to be better, but I'm still see them struggling to beat some of these teams. So, did I lose you? Nope. Gotcha. Sorry, I was off the thing. So that's where I'm at with the Raiders. I know they brought in Geno Smith, and I'm excited to see what Geno could do, especially with our boy. Oh my gosh, roster. Why am I blanking? Sorry, my face still really hurts from the other day. So with Geno Smith coming in, you still have your tight end with Brock Bowers, who I think is going to be the best tight end for years to come. You did bring in, and you still have Jacoby Myers, who I like a lot. You got Ashton Genty now starting in your backfield, and he will be your number one back. And he's excited and he is ready to come in to this league and prove something. He's talked about it plenty, and I think that he will shine as long as we have some good offensive line play to get him going. Max Crosby, I think, will be still pretty dang good on that back end for the being a defensive end over there. This team has got a lot of up, and I wanted to rank them higher. I just have trouble wanting to rank this team any higher just because of the division that they're in, because I do think that the Broncos got better. I think the Chargers got better. And then obviously you still have the Chiefs, who will be good. I think they'll take actually a step back from where they are, but they're still going to be a good team. And so it's nothing to knock on the Raiders. I do like Pete Carroll, mainly because he didn't let Marshawn Lynch run that last 2 yards. Thank you. But I do like him, and I think him coming on in is really going to help this team and change the culture of this team moving forward. So that's where I've got that. And then, so now moving on, if BJ wants to hop in here later, I do have the Cardinals after that. And it's for the same reason as what BJ was talking about, is I don't trust Kyler Murray. I liked him when he first joined the league, but he is a small quarterback. He struggles throwing over that O-line. You know, he had his troubles with playing COD and being able to play video, focus on his team.
Oh, so that's true. When does the next Call of Duty release?
I don't know, but that's where I do have the Cardinals after that. Did you have anything else you want to say on the Raiders?
Yeah, so with the Raiders, they finished last season as the 15th ranked total defense in the league. So obviously their defense is middle of the road, which I've always said that's all it takes to be a good team, right? You just need to be middle of the road, because that still means you're better than half of the leagues or half the teams in the league. Their offense, on the other hand, was 27th in the league. So much like what Casino was saying, I like their wide receivers. I don't love them. I do love Ashton Genty. I think Geno Smith I think people overrate him, but he's kind of like Tyrod Taylor is the poor man's Geno Smith, right? So it's like, I trust Geno Smith more than I trust Tyrod Taylor. And I was just making the case that Tyrod Taylor should start. So I think Geno Smith elevates this team, obviously much more than Aiden O'Connell did last year. And then Ashton Genty, I think, will come into this league and kind of set it on fire. I just think when you watch him in college, he was just one of those running backs where behind a bad offensive line against great teams, he still had great games. So, and then obviously what Casino was just saying with Brock Bowers, I think he is potentially the best tight end in the league, if not in that mix right now, where there's no way somebody can make the case that he's not a top 3 tight end in this league. So you have, and like Casino was saying, you have Pete Carroll, who we saw, with Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, all that kind of stuff, just lighting the league on fire. So you saw how good the Seahawks were when Geno Smith and Pete Carroll together. So just logically, I think the only thing stopping the Raiders right now is just the division they play in, because just based on this list, I know I have the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos rated higher than them. I know Casino does. Those were 15, 11, and 10 win teams last year, and then the Raiders were 0-6 in their division. So you have them will be generous and say they split with those teams in the division next year. That only gives them 3 more wins. So there's still a 7-10 team next year. If you're going to say, that the Raiders vastly improve. I don't think they're a contender to go from worst to first, but I do think they're a contender to double the amount of wins they had last year. Next up, right after the Raiders, speaking of Pete Carroll, I have the Seahawks at number 22. And the Seahawks, the only reason I have them that low is because we don't know if Sam Darnold is good or not. We just know he had a good season last year. So now he's in a different system on a different team. And now there's not a question mark of, is he going to be the starter? Is he going to be in a quarterback battle? Like, he's the starting quarterback for an NFL team. And the last time we saw that was when he was with the Jets, and we all saw how that went. So now you have Sam Darnold. You trade away DK Metcalf, so you're out your number one option. So you have a bunch of guys where one of them needs to step up, from Smith and Najigba to now you have Cooper Kupp, you have Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Like, I don't like their weapons at all, because I think obviously Cooper Kupp, I think he's going to be good, but he's at the back end of his career. We've seen him be injury prone the past couple of years. Jackson Smith, we've seen play second fiddle. Now all of a sudden he's elevated to the number one receiving option. And then Kenneth Walker. I mean, the Seahawks last year, what did they start games with 7 or 8 different running backs because all their guys kept getting injured? So again, I don't think you can put the Seahawks any higher, just because Sam Darnold, much like Trevor Lawrence, like, what is he at this point? Like, what kind of quarterback is he? Can he lead a team? Again, their defense last year was 14th in the league. So
we'll find out on Sam.
Next up, your 22, Casino.
My 22. Let's see here. Sorry, I had to pull that back up. I actually had the Seahawks.
Oh, there you go. Anything you want to cover that I did not?
Nope. Just out of curiosity, how much longer do you want to roll on this? Because I feel like this is a multi-dayer here.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to 16, and then on Thursday's show we'll go we'll go 16 to 1 on next week's, or on Thursday's show. Today we'll just go to 17. So we're going to 17. Next up, my number 21, I actually had your New England Patriots, Casino, at 21. Higher or lower on yours?
Higher.
Or are they number so we'll save the Patriots discussion. My number 20th, I actually had the Panthers. And I had the Panthers for what I was saying when you had the Panthers low, which was just, I like what I saw from Bryce Young last year. I think the Panthers, again, are in a weak division where I have no faith in the Falcons. I think I'm going to rank the Falcons a lot lower than a lot of people. I think the Saints are going to be the worst team in the league. And then I think the Bucks are going to be one of the best. So I think the Panthers can kind of almost swap and be what the Falcons were last year, which is a team fighting for that last wild card spot in the NFC. And again, I think it all just goes on the shoulders of Bryce Young. We saw it towards after the benching, it looked like it just clicked and he kind of was starting to figure it out. I am not crazy about their weapons, but again, they have Leggett, who they got a couple years ago. They got Thielen and Renfro. They have Teteroa McMillan, who they drafted this year. I like Chuba Hubbard. I like this team's offense. Their defense, again, last year was, what did I say? Or that was the Seahawks. The Panthers defense was 32nd in the league. So there's only one way to go, and that's up. There's no way they're again the worst team in the league. So again, I have a very high outlook on the Panthers. I don't know why. I just like what I saw at the end of last year. So your number 21.
Cowboys.
Oh, see, I had Cowboys at 19.
See, so I have no faith in this team whatsoever. All they've done is just mismanage contracts for the last like 8 years. And
decade.
Yeah. Like, it's been so bad, and they've not been able to. They've had the players, they've had the capability and the cap and whatnot to go and win a Super Bowl. They've had it, but they decide to overpay their players and they mismanage all the contracts, and other teams and other players leave. I don't like this. Jerry Jones needs to leave this organization one way or another.
Yeah, I think honestly,
I've talked about this a lot. They didn't do anything in the offseason that makes me, say,
They got
yeah,
George Pickens. Casino, they got George Pickens. He's
okay.
gonna
Okay. Again, they haven't done anything in the offseason to make me excited about them. I'm Dak's not bad. He's not a bad quarterback, but man, he's got so much going on to deal with in Dallas that I think it affects his game a lot.
Yeah. George Pickens, the only second string wide receiver that for some reason got traded to a team that then immediately made that team think he's worth 4 wins. Like, I've never, again, people make fun of the Dallas Cowboys fans because they're delusional. I've seen hot takes of just being like George Pickens missing piece. And then it's like, yeah, the second string wide receiver who has eclipsed 1,000 yards one time in his career was the missing piece between missing the playoffs completely in a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. Again, I agree with you where a lot of people fail to remember the Cowboys defense last year finished 28th in the league. So they were one of the bottom 5 defenses in the league. And again, their offense was missing Dak Prescott for most of the season. They still finished as the 17th ranked offense in the league. So you think with Dak Prescott, what, they're going to be a top 10 offense in the league? Like, okay, even if that's true, you think that equates to how many more wins? They were a 7-win team last year. And again, Eagles are better, Commanders are better. I think Giants are going to be awful, but they're still going to be a team with a great defense. So now, again, their 2 running backs are Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Neither of them have done anything since the breakout seasons that got them paid. You have CeeDee Lamb, who always gets his numbers. So again, it's not like he had a bad year last year. And then George Pickens is now second banana to CeeDee Lamb, who was traded from one of the most, well-respected teams in the entire NFL, maybe in NFL history, in the Pittsburgh Steelers, because of his attitude and his approach to the game. So now you just have a Cowboys team where nobody was in love with their first round pick. Nobody is in love with their offense. Their defense was downright bad last year. Yeah, the Micah Parsons is now talking about contract disputes and all this kind of stuff. Like, if you're a Cowboys fan, legitimately, what makes you excited for next season? 2 of your division rivals were in the NFC Championship game last year. What do you think you did to get on their level? It's
nothing. They did absolutely nothing. Again, at this point, they're waiting for a change in ownership.
Which that's the thing Cowboys haters and Cowboys lovers always agree on, which is Jerry Jones is the problem. Obviously, for us Cowboys haters, he's the solution. But, so that was number 19 for me. That was number what for you? For the Cowboys?
I had them at 21.
Okay, so what's your number 20?
20 is the Dolphins.
Oh, my number 18 is the Dolphins.
So with the Dolphins, Tua's just so injury prone. I feel sorry for him. The Dolphins, what did they do to get better? What did they do to get better?
I mean, they moved unilaterally to get an
100%. They just went like this. Just went. Yeah. So I said to get better. I didn't say to stay the same. I don't know. The Dolphins, I do think the Jets obviously will be the worst team in that division, and then I have the Dolphins being the second worst in that division. I think the Patriots will be number 2.
I mean, I have the Patriots at 21, the Dolphins at 18. So I have the Dolphins slightly better, but not by much. I mean, they were an 8-9 team last year. That kind of feels like what they're going to be this year, like 8-9.
Yeah, that's fine. And yeah, you're right, because I have the Patriots having more wins than that.
Well, yeah, because you're a Patriots fan.
No, I like what they did to that organization. I like the complete overhaul of that organization. And not only with the complete sorry, we'll get to that. Anyway, that's the Dolphins. 19 for me is the Steelers. Again, they just.
Ooh, That might be our biggest difference.
See, I have the Steelers there because I have all these teams that I'm talking about from here on out. I have them right around anywhere from the I have them anywhere from 7 to 10. Like 7 to 10, that's kind of where I have all these teams all the way up to shit. I have all those teams roughly up to about 9. Um, they are all
Yeah.
about 7 to 10 win teams. So I have the Steelers because I don't trust Aaron Rodgers at all. I don't like Jalen Ramsey. I did when, again, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was. I just don't like this team. I don't like Jalen Ramsey. Aaron Rodgers is washed. What they did is they just solidified their 9-8 record. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
this is dropping some teams. I can see Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin not being on the same page and Mike Tomlin not being able to reel him in and them just kind of imploding.
Yeah. No, I could see that too. I'm more
could with Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, and some of these veteran pieces that they brought in, could they be a 11-win team? Sure. Is it going to happen? No. No, there's too many big dogs in that locker room.
Yeah. Going back to the Dolphins, real quick, Casino. It is, again, one of those things that annoys the shit out of me where it's just like the same people who are just like, just give Trevor Lawrence time. Just give him the right coach, give him time. And then you look at Tua, who 2 years ago had a better season than Trevor Lawrence has had for the past his entire career and his peak of 4 seasons ago. So if Tua is healthy, he's a 4,600 yard passer, 30 touchdowns, 14 interceptions.
And had
But this, you can say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence. And again, last year, the Dolphins defense was 4th in the league. So obviously the scary thing with Tua being injury prone is if he gets a certain injury one more time, he's not out for the season. He's like done like
with football
for his career. So, and then also Mike McDaniels, I feel like he might be one of the coaches on, a hot seat right next to Brian Daboll in New York. And yeah, I just think the Dolphins, again, I think they're going to be an 8-9 win team. And that's what they were last year. I don't see, like you said, they didn't do anything to make me go, they got better. They kind of just flatlined. They kind of just feel like they're the same. And again, the biggest question mark, which I would hate if it was my team, is can our quarterback stay healthy or will he have to retire in the middle of the season? Like, that's a scary question to have for your starting quarterback. My number 17 was the Denver Broncos. And the only reason
I have them up higher.
The only reason I don't have them higher is just because I believe in the adage of the sophomore slump. Because in recent years, we have seen rookie quarterbacks have fantastic rookie seasons. And then the very next year, like CJ Stroud, the next year, you and I both had him as an MVP candidate. And then he kind of just fell off a cliff and the Texans were bad that season.
And now they got their junior year coming up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Texans I actually have much higher than I thought I would, but just looking at all the teams. But yeah, the Broncos, you can basically say the same thing you did for the Raiders, which is just, I would have them higher if it wasn't for the division they played in. I think the Raiders are going to be a better team. I have the Chargers rated ahead of them, and obviously I have the Chiefs rated ahead of them. That might be the best coach division in all of football. Like, if for pretty much every team, I feel like you would take any of those 4 head coaches to be the head coach of your team. But yeah, when it comes to the Broncos, I really like their offense. Their defense, finished the league number 7th in total defense last year. Their offense was 19th, and I feel like their publicity was all on how good their offense was last year. So it can only improve. But again, defensive coordinators get an entire offseason to watch the mistakes your rookie quarterback made. I feel like that's why we see sophomore slumps, because finally defensive guys really get to go over tape and just be like, this is what he does. This is how we can trip him up. So I trust Sean Payton, even though I've never liked Sean Payton. I can't deny that he's a good coach. And I think this is going to be a team that, much like the Dolphins, is going to be, well, not much like the Dolphins, because with the Dolphins, I thought they were going to stay the same and miss the playoffs. The Broncos, I could see being, again, a 10-win team and vying for that last AFC playoff spot.
Gotcha. So the Broncos were what for you, 18?
The Broncos were, let's see, 18, 19. No, the Broncos were my 17th.
Got it. So you're done. I have my 18 and 17. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have 18. I have the Bears.
Oh.
Yeah. I need to see what I need to see what the Bears are with all their changes. That's just kind of where I'm at with the Bears. Don't worry.
Also,
my Patriots are not too far away. Okay. Because it's the same situation. I need to see it. I like the pieces they brought in. I like the coaching change. I like the rookie quarterback. I need to see what Caleb Williams and this team can do refreshed. But not only that, is they also just brought in so many good pieces, and they were not afraid to go after this offseason. That's why I have them higher, right, than most teams, especially with the rookie quarterback. I mean, second-year quarterback, but still. And then I know you were right last year with them, and I'm going to stick to it this year. The Bengals are my 17.
You know what? That's so funny. Spoiler alert. I have Bears at 16, Bengals at 15. So we're kind of lockstep with where we think these teams are going to be.
And then we'll just get to them. Patriots, I have 16. And so we'll stop at our 16 here. Bengals, same issues, is no matter how good Joe Burrow is, he needs a better team. He just needs a better team. I don't know how much longer he can do it. They're going to be mid-pack. I want to see him succeed. I just can't see him succeeding on that team.
I feel like Joe Burrow is like the fans. Obviously, unless you're a fan of the other AFC North teams or like the Chiefs, I feel like Joe Burrow and like Baker Mayfield are the two quarterbacks that, even if they're not on your team, you're always kind of just rooting for them.
I agree. I've never heard anybody say anything bad against Joe Burrow.
No, and everybody just loves him.
Yeah,
which he's a likable guy.
Yeah, really and then I do have the Patriots at my 16 and making the playoffs. Yes, I do.
Ooh.
I have them being a wild card team and making the playoffs. I like the pieces they brought in. They did bring in people for Drake May to throw to. They got Stephon Diggs. That makes me happy. I know they don't got a whole bunch there, but their defense is absolutely stout. I like the running backs we brought in, and then Ramondre Stevenson that went to our high school. Shout out to Ramondre. He slimmed up like a mother trucker. And I know a lot of people are out there like, he's slimmed up, dude. You still have Bourne, you have Butte. Like, I do like this team and what they did to help give Drake May time and not be the worst offensive line in the league. I think will do wonders not only for the running backs that brought in and Ramondre already being there, but also it will give Drake May time to find receivers that we also brought in. So that's where I'm excited, and I really like the no-nonsense bullshit that Vrabel brings. And, nobody's really talking about the Stephon Diggs thing anymore, right? Which is great. They were like, we're going to deal with it. Stephon Diggs came out, and we're like, oh, we're going to deal with that internally. And it's being done internally, and I like that. They're working that out. So I do like this team, and I think they are right there to make a playoff spot. They're going to be 3 games to go in the season. I'm saying that they have their shot. Whether it's in their hands or not, they will be in contention for a wild card spot at the end of the season.
That's interesting. I had Patriots at 21st. I think they're much better than a 4-win team, but I mean, even doubling their wins from last season, does that get them in the playoffs in the
Right.
AFC?
Okay.
Maybe
I
not.
do. I think that they're right around that 9-10 mark. Like I think they're right around that 9-10 mark. And that's going to be right there, knocking on that door. They're not going to beat the Bills, so they have to go for a wild card spot, right? And
Yeah.
I think they're going to be knocking on that door. And you've got to also look that, in the AFC, you have other good teams in other good divisions, right? So that's where it's going to be tough. I